At 91, Shirley Jones decided it was finally time to speak openly about one of the most defining chapters of her career, her work opposite the legendary Burt Lancaster. For decades, their powerful on-screen connection in Elmer Gantry has fueled both admiration and speculation. Fans often wondered what truly unfolded behind the scenes between the two icons. Now, after a lifetime in the spotlight, Jones shares her truth with grace and honesty. Her story isn't just about a film. It's about bravery, transformation, and the courage it takes to reveal what has been hidden for years. Shirley Jones. Born Shirley Mae Jones on March 31, 1934, in Charleroi, Pennsylvania, grew up far away from the dazzling lights of Hollywood. She spent her childhood in nearby Smithton, where small-town values, church gatherings, and community life shaped her early worldview. Her parents, recognizing their daughter's pure melodic soprano voice, encouraged her to pursue formal voice training from a very young age. Music quickly became not just a hobby, but her entire world, a doorway to something much bigger than her small hometown. As a child, Shirley performed at local events, impressing audiences with her natural talent and emotional depth even at a tender age. She was determined, focused, and quietly ambitious. Unlike many children who dream of fame, Shirley dreamed of performing on real stages. She didn't yet know that destiny was preparing to lead her to some of the most legendary stages and screens in American entertainment history. Those early years, the simplicity, the support of her family, and her love for singing laid the foundation for a career that would make her an enduring icon for generations to come. Every star has a moment when everything changes. For Shirley, that moment came when the legendary musical duo Richard Rodgers and Oscar Hammerstein II heard her sing. They were immediately struck by her pure, crystal-clear soprano voice and the wholesome charm she radiated. Impressed beyond measure, they did something they had never done before. They signed her to a personal contract, making her the only performer to ever receive that honor. It was an extraordinary vote of confidence in her potential. That contract led directly to her film debut in the cinematic adaptation of Oklahoma, 55. As Laurie Williams, the sweet farm girl caught in a romantic whirlwind, Shirley won the hearts of audiences across America. Her performance was filled with warmth, sincerity, and radiant beauty, the perfect embodiment of Rodgers and Hammerstein's vision. The film was a massive success, both critically and commercially. Practically overnight, Shirley Jones became a household name. Her voice filled theaters, her image appeared on magazine covers, and her star began its meteoric rise. She had officially stepped out of small-town Pennsylvania and into the history books of Hollywood musical cinema. The success of Oklahoma opened the floodgates for Shirley's career. She went on to star in some of the most beloved musicals of the 1950s and early 1960s. Her role in Carousel, 1956, opposite Gordon MacRae, showcased not only her vocal range, but also her ability to portray complex emotions with nuance and grace. She wasn't just singing, she was telling stories through every note. Then came The Music Man, 1962, where she played Marion Peru, the strong yet tender librarian opposite Robert Preston. This role became one of the defining moments of her career, as it perfectly balanced romance, comedy, and music in a way that audiences adored. By then, she had cemented her reputation as America's sweetheart, the wholesome, pure-hearted heroine who embodied charm and integrity. But Shirley was never content with being typecast. Beneath the surface of the sweet girl roles was an actress who knew she could do more. While her musicals made her a star, it was the roles that came next that would make her a legend. In 1960, Shirley shocked Hollywood by accepting a role that was the complete opposite of her image. She starred in Elmer Gantry opposite Burt Lancaster playing Lulu Baines, a fallen woman whose innocence was destroyed by a charismatic conman preacher. It was a character full of pain, complexity, and emotional weight. Audiences were stunned. Gone was the sweet, wholesome girl from the musicals. In her place stood a woman capable of delivering a raw, searing performance that demanded attention. The on-screen chemistry between Shirley Jones and Burt Lancaster was electric, intense, unforgettable, and brutally honest. Behind the scenes, Shirley would later reveal, Lancaster's commanding presence pushed her to dig deeper than ever before. It was one of the most challenging experiences of her career, but it became her proudest. Her performance earned her the Academy Award's Best Supporting Actress Oscar, a triumph that silenced anyone who had ever doubted her acting range. With that one role, she shattered every preconceived notion about her. She wasn't just a musical star anymore. She was a serious actress capable of going toe-to-toe with Hollywood's finest. That film, and her partnership with Lancaster, became a defining chapter in her story. By the 1970s, Shirley once again reinvented herself, this time for television. She took on the role of Shirley Partridge in The Partridge Family, 1970-1974, playing a widowed mother raising 5 musical children. The show was an instant hit. It wasn't just a TV program, it became a cultural phenomenon, with millions tuning in weekly to see the adventures of the Partridge family. Shirley brought warmth, humor, and a calm center to the series, grounding the musical chaos with maternal grace. Viewers saw her not just as a character, but as someone who felt familiar, a comforting, kind figure they welcomed into their living rooms. The show made her a household name for a new generation and helped shape her image as one of the most beloved TV moms in American pop culture. While she had already conquered film and music, this chapter proved that her appeal was timeless and adaptable. She wasn't stuck in one era or one medium. Shirley Jones was everywhere, but Shirley was never afraid to take risks. In 1975, she starred in Winner Take All, a made-for-television drama that pushed her into even darker emotional territory. In this intense story, she portrayed a compulsive gambler whose addiction slowly destroys her life, her marriage, and everything she holds dear. To make matters worse, the character crosses shocking moral lines, including betraying her husband with her own bookie. For audiences who had adored her as Marion Peru or Shirley Partridge, this performance was unexpected and jarring, but it was also brilliant. Shirley brought a depth and rawness to the role that once again proved her range. She wasn't content to coast on nostalgia. She wanted to challenge herself as an actress. This willingness to explore complicated and sometimes uncomfortable roles added new layers to her career. It showed the world that she could be tender, funny, and vulnerable, but also dark, flawed, and fiercely human. In 1979, Shirley returned to television in the sitcom Shirley. The series mirrored some of the family dynamics of her previous hit, but aimed for a more grounded, heartfelt tone. Once again, she played a widowed mother navigating life's daily challenges with grace and strength. However, despite Shirley's undeniable charm and talent, the series struggled to find its footing. Competition was fierce, ratings were lukewarm, and the show was eventually canceled mid-season. It was a disappointment, but not a defeat. For Shirley, it was simply another chapter in a long and evolving career. She had learned long ago that in show business, even legends face ups and downs. As the decades passed, Shirley continued to surprise audiences. In the 1990s, she appeared in The Drew Carey Show, playing an older woman who becomes romantically involved with Drew's character, a playful role that allowed her to show a more comedic, tongue-in-cheek side. It was a refreshing reminder that she could adapt to modern humor while poking fun at her own image. Then, in 2000, she made a nostalgic cameo in That 70s Show, reprising the spirit of Shirley Partridge. Fans who had grown up watching her decades earlier were thrilled to see her return, even briefly. She also delivered one of her most emotional performances in the TV movie There Were Times Dear, portraying a devoted wife dealing with her husband's battle with Alzheimer's. Her quiet strength and emotional vulnerability resonated deeply, earning her an Primetime Emmy Awards nomination. It was proof that even late in her career, she was still capable of delivering performances that touched hearts. Behind the spotlight, Shirley lived a life filled with love, complexity, and personal battles. On August 5, 1956, she married Jack Cassidy, a charismatic actor and singer already making waves on Broadway and television. Their union was a glamorous Hollywood love story. At just 22, Shirley was stepping into both stardom and a whirlwind marriage. Together, they built a family and welcomed 3 sons, Sean, Patrick, and Ryan Cassidy, each of whom would later follow in their parents' footsteps and pursue careers in entertainment. Shirley also became a stepmother to David Cassidy, Jack's son from a previous marriage. David would go on to become a teen idol thanks to The Partridge Family, where he starred alongside Shirley. But life wasn't always as perfect as it appeared on camera. Their marriage was passionate but turbulent, marked by Jack's personal struggles, infidelities, and the pressures of fame. Shirley, despite her calm public image, often faced heartbreak behind closed doors. Yet, she remained deeply devoted to her children, always prioritizing family. Through love, loss, and complicated emotions, Shirley balanced her career and motherhood with grace. Her personal life, though less publicized than her on-screen triumphs, was every bit as layered and human. After nearly 2 decades together, Shirley and Jack's marriage unraveled. The weight of fame, personal differences, and Jack's battles ultimately led to their divorce in 1975. It was a painful chapter, but it also marked a turning point. Shirley emerged from it stronger, wiser, and more determined to live life on her terms. Jack Cassidy's tragic death 2 years later left a lasting impact on her and their children. Yet Shirley carried forward the best of their shared legacy, their sons, their art, and their unforgettable years together. Her family remained central to her identity, even as her career continued to evolve. Looking back, Shirley Jones's story is one of resilience, evolution, and timeless talent. From a small-town girl with a dream to an Oscar-winning actress, a beloved TV mom, and a symbol of grace, she has lived many lives within one extraordinary lifetime. Her relationship with Burt Lancaster marked a powerful turning point in her artistic journey, proving that one daring choice can redefine everything. Now in her 90s, she speaks with the clarity of someone who has nothing left to hide, only a legacy to share. Her truth, her talent, and her courage continue to inspire new generations who discover her work for the first time. Shirley Jones will always remain more than just a star. She is a Hollywood legend whose light still shines brightly. Throughout her career, Shirley Jones maintained a unique relationship with her fans. Unlike many stars who built a wall of mystery, she always came across as warm, approachable, and genuine. Fans adored her not only for her performances, but also for her kindness and humility. She was the type of star who would stop for a handshake, a smile, or a conversation. Her image as the sweetheart of America was more than just a media construct. It reflected how people truly saw her. Whether she was at a red carpet event, a charity gala, or a small-town gathering, Shirley carried herself with grace. Over the years, letters poured in from fans who had grown up watching her in musicals or The Partridge Family. For many, she represented stability, kindness, and joy, a figure they trusted in changing times. Even in her later years, Shirley remained a beloved figure in the entertainment world. She made appearances at special events, classic film festivals, and television reunions that celebrated her timeless work. Whether it was revisiting the magic of Oklahoma or paying tribute to the Partridge Family, her presence always drew warm applause and standing ovations. She spoke openly about her memories, sharing behind-the-scenes stories with a twinkle in her eye, as if the golden age of Hollywood still lived inside her. Her elegance, poise, and humor made every appearance feel personal. She became a living bridge between the past and present of the entertainment industry, reminding everyone of a time when musical films ruled the big screen. A career as extraordinary as Shirley's naturally came with recognition. Her performance in Elmer Gantry earned her an Academy Awards for Best Supporting Actress, one of Hollywood's highest honors. But that wasn't the only accolade. Throughout her life, she received numerous Lifetime Achievement Awards, including tributes from film societies, TV networks, and musical theater organizations. She was inducted into various halls of fame and often honored at events celebrating the golden age of musicals. For Shirley, these awards weren't just shiny trophies, they were reminders of the decades of hard work, discipline, and love she had poured into her craft. Even more meaningful than the statues were the standing ovations and heartfelt tributes from younger artists who saw her as a trailblazer. Shirley Jones's influence extended far beyond her own era. Generations of singers and actors who followed her often spoke of how her performances inspired them to step into the world of entertainment. For many young women, she represented strength, wrapped in grace. Someone who could be soft and kind, but also bold and fearless in her career choices. Shows like The Partridge Family paved the way for future family-centered musical programs. Her work in musicals inspired Broadway and Hollywood performers alike, and her willingness to embrace complex, challenging roles made it easier for other women to break out of stereotypes on screen. Shirley didn't just make history, she helped shape the path for those who came after. Throughout her long and illustrious career, Shirley Jones was showered with honors that celebrated not just her talent, but also her enduring influence on American entertainment. One of her greatest milestones was winning the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her powerful performance in Elmer Gantry. This victory broke stereotypes and proved she was more than just the wholesome girl next door. She also received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, an honor that marked her lasting imprint on the entertainment world. In addition to her Oscar, Jones was nominated for several other awards throughout her career, including Emmys and Golden Globes. She was frequently invited to prestigious industry events as a special guest and presenter, further cementing her respected position in Hollywood. Even decades after her prime, tributes and retrospectives celebrated her as one of the defining voices and faces of Golden Age musicals. Her presence at special ceremonies inspired both older fans and new generations who grew up discovering her work through television reruns and streaming platforms. Jones didn't just collect awards. She built a legacy that stood the test of time. The impact of Shirley Jones extended far beyond her own era. She became a bridge between the classic Hollywood musical era and modern pop culture. Young actors often cited her as an inspiration for pursuing careers in film and television. Her ability to balance sweetness with strength became a model for many female performers who wanted to break free from one-dimensional roles. Television shows and films have often referenced or parodied The Partridge Family, proving its iconic status. Decades later, family sitcoms still borrow elements from the warm, musical, and lighthearted energy Jones brought to the small screen. She also became a staple in documentaries and interviews exploring the evolution of Hollywood. Her characters became archetypes, the kind, resilient woman who could carry both a family and a story. From musical theater students to young TV actors, her influence rippled through generations. She wasn't just a star of her time. She was a blueprint for timeless storytelling. Her career proved that real impact isn't just about awards or fame. It's about inspiring those who come after you to dream bigger and shine brighter.